Hello, my name is Jonathan Caniglio. I will be the president of Podcast Club for the academic year of 2017 to 2018. Your vice president will be Daniel Corbett, and your treasurer will be Elijah DeVote. I'm here to talk to you guys about some of our future plans for the club. Right in the beginning of the fall semester, before the CNO Expo, we'll be having a big meeting that will include all current members of the club and all media and communications majors. We'll talk about what the club is and what our plans for the future are and how it applies to the media and communications majors, which is why it will be mandatory for those in that major to attend the meeting. The next thing we'll be doing is the CNO Expo. I mentioned the meeting is going to be before the CNO Expo, so those media and communications majors who sign up at the big meeting will participate in the CNO Expo. At our CNO Expo in the past, we've played podcasts. I hope to get more powerful speakers so that people can actually hear the podcasts rather than simply playing them from a computer speaker. And we're going to need some people to make an info board. I'll help out with that, but a lot of the info that goes on the board is going to be decided at the big meeting. And then we're going to have another meeting directly after the CNO Expo for the people who signed up for the club. It'll be a lot of the same stuff that we covered in the big meeting and then some more. Actually, there's going to be a lot of new jobs within the club. We're going to departmentalize the club. So the first department will be graphic design department. A lot of the people in the media and communications majors want to go into graphic design, commercial design, all of that stuff. So right in the beginning of the year, we're going to hold a logo design contest. We'll also be making multiple posters and advertisements to be hung up around the school and put into the ORCA program, the thing that shows advertisements on the television screens across campus. And this could also be another competition. Some more new jobs. In the past, it has fallen upon the president, which would be me, to edit the audio and the video for our club. However, I'm not that great, and I'm hoping to get a lot more podcasts out there. So we're going to need a small team specifically for that. And if you don't know how, Doug, me, we'll walk you through it. And it's a good way to expand your resume and your skill set. Another new job will be journalists and hosts. So anyone setting out in the news world will probably want to be in this job. Their job will be to perform interviews and compile information about news stories and whatnot. And then hosts, those are the people who will be hosting our shows. You don't have to be a host if you're in Podcast Club. Like I said, we're going to departmentalize the club. We're going to have some new jobs, and you don't have to be a host on top of those new jobs. So I want to talk to you guys about the Podcast Club as a news outlet. So like I said, we're going to have that journalism job. So those people will be doing interviews, and they'll be compiling information for our news shows. Here on the Del Val campus, we don't have a news outlet. We don't have a news show. We don't have a newspaper. And we do have the Del Val Insider, but honestly, not a lot of people read that. So we're going to be using the Podcast Club as a type of news outlet. We'll be reporting local news, and those journalists will be using newspapers and local outlets to bring in information about that. It'll bring campus attention to stories and events in Doylestown and the surrounding cities. It's always good to be aware of your surroundings and what's going on, the good and the bad. We will most certainly be having a Del Val news show. The Insider is great, but like I said, no one really reads it. So every week we have an email, This Week at Del Val. It's sent out. That outlines a lot of the activities that go on campus. However, oftentimes it leaves things out or it gives misinformation without correcting it. So using the Del Val news outlet, we can advertise that we advertise for other clubs and sports teams and events that happen around campus. It'll make people more aware of campus events. It'll be another way for people to know what's going on and exactly what they'll be like. And we can even advertise events sponsored by the school, like those guest speakers or panels or films that they show in the Life Sciences Auditorium. And another little bit about that is we can find out who's offering extra credit for those events. That'll encourage more students to go, because then they'll know that their teachers are in fact offering extra credit. We want to bring in an agriculture news show. We are a agriculture school, so the news show will have plant and farming news, world news, local news, Del Val news, and it will especially include an equine portion, so that'll be general and on-campus news about equine topics. The other part of our campus is largely animal science, so we'll be having an animal news show. It'll talk about conservation efforts, zoo news, all that fun animal stuff. We'll probably have some vets come in, we'll interview them. We're going to have a lot of interesting interviews in the coming semesters. And then we're going to have a Del Val Sports Center. It's kind of an existing show, however, they don't talk about specifically Del Val sports. They talk more about general sports news, and we can have a show for that as well, or we can add that onto this Del Val Sports Center news show. We really do need to talk about Del Val sports news as well as the general news, because that's what's going on around us. That's what's going on right here at Del Val. We'll talk about games that happen. We'll talk about upcoming games that are going to happen. We'll talk about speculations about players. We're going to have some very knowledgeable hosts. We already have a couple of guys signed up for that. You can come to me if you'd like to be signed up for that as well. We can bring in coaches. We can bring in players to interview. So I think that would be interesting. That's going to be a very large show. And then, as you guys know, we have fun shows. We have the show where a bunch of guys get together, they play board games and stuff. You have the show that I run, Pop Shop, for pop culture news. And we're going to keep those. We're always looking for new ideas. If you have a new idea, you bring it up to me or one of the executives or our advisor, Doug, and we'll hash it out with you. And we'll even, if you don't want to be the host, we'll find you a host. But it'll be your show. I have a couple of new ideas. I'm thinking possibly a coffee house show, which will allow people in the English department to showcase their work. Many of the people on campus are into the arts, not just the English department. So I know we have a lot of singers on campus. We have plenty of instrumentalists. We have plenty of illustrative artists, so drawings, paintings, animations. People on campus who want to show off their work, they can use this as an outlet to do that, a way to get their names out there. They can come in, they'll talk about their art or whatever. We'll show it on the video, and that'll be that news show. Again, if you have any other new ideas, bring them up to me or an executive or Doug. We're really looking for a lot of new ideas. We're really looking to expand the club in this coming year. The club was just a baby last year. It was Harry's baby. He formed the club, and we're really looking forward to this coming year making the club a lot bigger and a bigger presence on campus. So I hope this was informative, and I hope you guys have a wonderful summer. See you soon.